Spoilers. Spoilers. Woo! We got spoilers. What's up, guys? Pencil here, and here we are to do a breakdown and discussion of the spoilers for chapter 403 of My Hero Academia, which is known as Sorry, I didn't. Oh jeez, I am so sorry. We're not. You know what? I may be editing me. You can have some fun with that if you want editing me. We'll see. The light fell. All right, the light fell, nearly crushed my head. I almost had to let's just say activate Ultra Instinct. But regardless, you know what I'm here for. I don't usually do my Hero Academia spoiler discussions, but it's been all over the internet. If you're still here, this is your last spoiler warning. If you don't want spoilers, run away. 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? I have a pencil here. Fun fact, I have it on me, and I keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Bakugo's alive. And he's up. I mean, it's true. He is alive. Now. That'll probably be the longest. You know what? Let me quickly glaze over the rest of the chapter. I'm not going to talk too much in depth about the color pages. I want to say that for the actual review, where I can like show y'all and explain everything bit by bit. I'm not going to show anything from the actual chapter because I am still scared. Your boy just got liberated by the copyright strike. Your boy's not trying to get another copyright strike. But with that being the case, we're going to glaze over the two color pages as much as I love them. We get a little bit of flashback at the beginning for All Might Toshinori Yagi with his mama and... Oh my, you need a stepdad? No, I'm kidding. Am I? Yeah, I'm kidding. He's probably... How old is All Might? He's like nearly 60, right? If she's still alive, that's a feat in of itself. One of the best feats in the entire series. But with it being the case, just All Might's backstory being generic is a nice touch. I think it's good that he like literally came from nothing. He came so far from nothing that the fact that he rose up to be what he is a testament to the whole anybody can be a hero motif of My Hero Academia. If there's any series that's pushing that narrative, it's Spider-Man and My Hero Academia. Anyone can wear the mask, anyone can be a hero. That's what you get this plain backstory for. It's just the choices you make choose who you are in life later on down the line. To a point. My Hero Academia is also very realistic in the fact that, hey, if you get born with an extra long big toe, and that's your quirk, you could be a hero. You could try it. You could try it. You won't be the best at it, though. But I do like that All Might has a very simple past, very simple backstory. That's neat. Next thing, All Might actually lived. And, like, the implications of the end of this chapter implies that All Might's going to live. And here's the thing, right? I'm not mad at all for one. I think him actually being intelligent enough to know that All Might would have a ploy like this, paying attention to what All Might had on him, especially after All Might caught him off guard so many times with using the Hercules armor, the Iron Might suit, essentially. I do like that All for One was paying enough attention that he did still have enough, even if indirectly, respect for his ally to be like, you think I wasn't paying attention? The fact that you had that one little gauntlet left? You thought you were going to take me out in one little double trouble, huh? Well, guess what, buddy? You don't get to leave this world, this mortal coil, until I allow you to leave this world and this mortal coil. Do you understand me? Which is nice. You know, I stand by the fact that All for One being reintroduced into the narrative, especially as he was a mistake. 100% mistake. 100 million, billion, trillion, quintillion, octillion, Googleplex, all that. I 100% believe it is a massive, unforgivable, ankle-breaking mistake that kind of, it perturbs me just a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Like, we wasted, 2 years with him as the major villain? When did the Paranormal Liberation arc end? It's been a while. It's been a long while. And Shigaraki only very recently regained his autonomy. So we had the end of the the end of the First War, a majority, literally all of Vigilante, into a fat chunk of Paranormal Liberation Part 2, and only now are they two individual characters again. I really don't like it, but hey, I do like All for One's Giga Brain, right? Like, notably, his character is still iffy to me. Like, I wouldn't even say... Even with all the stuff he's done recently, even with the personal love that I have for insane characters. I don't know. He's still probably not even in my top 10. Actually, that's a hard list to fill though. For My Hero Academia, there are a bunch of characters in My Hero Academia that I like, but if I had to be like objective, I think I can't actually kick him out of the top 10. But like All For One isn't a character that I'm like, oh yes, one of the best new gen villains ever. Like no, nowhere near. But I do like my favorite thing about him, which is his Giga Brain. The fact that he pays attention to everything. He planned for every contingency. The man is a man of men who knows many things with a mega mind. And I like that he paid attention to All Might enough to know that, hey, he literally like grows spikes out the back of his head in order to pierce All Might's hand. And I will admit, All Might trying to drop a one-liner bar probably didn't help. Maybe if he was just quicker with it, he had like loaded up the blast and then pulled up and then smacked All For One with it, maybe it would have worked. But it seems like All For One was just way too ready for it. He knew. And we see that ultimately with All Might having, you know, the juice dripped out of his hand, and obviously the man's covered in the juice anyway, and the fact that All For One took Blood Curdle, he's like, in fact, you want to be all active, you want to move a whole bunch, let me show you something real quick. Scrumdiddlyumptious. Ages like fine grape juice. And yeah, he paralyzes All Might. So All Might cannot move at all. We don't know, I mean, maybe we know All Might's blood type, but regardless, it doesn't matter. He can easily reapply it. All Might is literally worthless right now. He needs to be saved. I wonder who is going to come and save him. But with that being the case, All Might is in shock and in despair. And obviously, remember, this whole thing's being broadcasted. Like, verbatim. This whole thing is being recorded and shown not just all across Japan, but all around the world. We saw All Might was still inspiring people with the Iron Might suit worldwide. People who didn't even know who All Might was were like, who? Brosy's kind of like that. So this is being live streamed. Everyone knows. Everyone's watching. And everyone's watching essentially as the symbol of peace. The world's greatest hero is being broken down, torn apart, bit by bit, piece by piece, in order to, really delineate his impact, delineate his legacy, and embarrass him. That's the main reason. All For One. I think, personally, he should have just insta-gibbed All Might, like, literally just, and then just carried his body around and, like, I don't know, used it as a weapon or something like that to be ultra disrespectful. But All For One pretty much has nothing to fear from a mortal man. He shouldn't have, and I don't think the Iron Might armor is still the best plot choice. I don't think All Might trying to go on the battlefield is the best plot choice, but regardless of that, the dominance of All For One is greatly appreciated. For a character who's had consistent ups and downs and has kind of been on a flat line for me in the long run, a spike of his IQ, a whiff of his intelligence is greatly appreciated, even if it's relatively little in the grand scheme of things when it comes to All For One and his blatant, unrepentant idiocy. But with that being the case, we see that with everyone watching, things are not looking too good. And of course, we see Stars and Stripes' friends try to come in and be like, hey, we will stop you. All For One will save you. All Might. Yeah, they get immediately wiped. Like what should have happened to All Might. But then I guess All Might had super special, crazy quirk mimicking armor. Meanwhile, they just have planes. So All For One, like, I think he like looks at them and they explode. Like, I have no idea what this ability is. Like, it's almost something like he opens his showering gun or something and then boom, everything explodes. Maybe he just slaps them. I think he slaps them. I can't 100% tell. Once again, the raws I have are very, very loose. Then of course we see that with this being the case, Midoriya is still, I mean, he's still a kid, right? Like, I think, is he even 16 yet? I think he's 16. He's 16. And he's put in a scenario where the man he's idolized for his entire existence, the man who he didn't just idolize, but gave him his quirk, gave him his faith, gave him literally everything that he has right now, and has put him in the position that he's in on every single level, is about to fall. And not just fall in a, like a, okay, I'm about to take myself out in my own way kind of way. He's not getting a hero's end, if you will. No, he's being humiliated on live television worldwide. Though admittedly, Midoriya likely doesn't know that wide television part, but still, seeing his hero being paraded around like this is nothing more than, I guess, just really it is a fraction of his former self. His former self? Yes. I mean, All Might is in a suit, but his former self, and honestly, about to perish. The saving of All Might is definitely weighing down Midoriya's mind. But with that being the case, we know he still has the ultimatum. Ultimately, if he leaves Shigaraki's just gonna leave. Like, Shigaraki, especially considering, thank you for the person who confirmed that for me, Shigaraki doesn't care about One for All. He couldn't care less. All he wants to do is destroy everything that has to do with that house. And thoughts on that at a later date. But regardless, he'll leave. He's only being stopped and kept in his current area because Midoriya is actively lassoing him in midair. The moment Midoriya dips to go, and who knows, maybe, considering Iron Might was able to do so much to All for One, literally executing him multiple times, it's very likely that Midoriya could just leave for 5 seconds, go one tap All for One, and save All Might. But in those 5 seconds, Shigaraki will slaughter everyone Midoriya knows and loves. Except for All Might, obviously, because he's getting slaughtered by All for One. So, he's in this ultimate catch-22 as a kid who just became a hero. And I do like, I'm not sure if this is purposeful symbolism, but I like how All for One is holding All Might. It reminds me of the painting. I think it's actually a real painting, but this is how I always link it back. For those who played Batman Arkham Asylum, not Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. And if you've seen a retrospective on it, I'm pretty sure every single reviewer ever has mentioned it. But you know that painting of Cain and Abel that you see at the very start of the game, with the beginning of the Catwoman mission, and how it's holding the man who committed the first. I like how All for One is holding All Might in that same position, about to, like, I don't know what he's about to do, but he's torturing him. And I wonder if it's a purposeful reference or if it's just like, hey, this is how you carry somebody in both arms. Regardless, I think it's a little neat parallel. And of course, we see everybody in name Mama, quite literally. Like, I think there actually are some mamas here. I'm not sure if there are any mamas here. But regardless, everyone's worried and watching, and Midoriya, once again, he's in this Omega Catch-22 where there's just nothing he can do. And even All Might seems to have finally given into despair, right? Like, he was about to go out on his own terms. He was about to go out with a smile on his face. As the last chapter ended, hey, bro was even more unhinged than All for One, according to Nana, but clearly she was wrong. And you see all this despair, all this desperation, and someone, please, someone save All Might-kun. Yeah, Deku looks at Yue, and none other than Bakugo Katsuki has arrived. He stood back up, edge shot is likely up in his heart, bada bing, bada boom. And Bakugo's alive. Raw, visceral thoughts on this, because I saw this earlier in the day, but I just didn't have the time to record. Like I said, I don't look at MHA leaks all too often, and usually they don't actually come across my timeline that often, despite me being an MHA fan. But this was just everywhere. Of course, because we've been waiting, like everyone knew it was gonna happen. That's why you aren't hearing me like, how dare Horikoshi. Like I had that forever ago when it was first revealed that Edge was bringing back. Like you didn't hear me ever really. Well, I think I was hopeful. I think when he first fell, I was hopeful that Hori would have the Tusk Act 4 in him and to keep Bakugo gone, to actually have some stakes. But this is Kohei Horikoshi. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the man. He has literally my favorite new gen thing. Endeavor's still my favorite new gen thing. More than Gojo. Well, I really like Itadori Yuji. I really do. But that's still Endeavor, one of my favorite new gen characters, period. Easily a top 5. Maybe a top 3, maybe even a top 2. He has Hawks, love Hawks. He has All Might, love All Might. He has Shigaraki for like the back half of the narrative, love that. Like, there's so many things in My Hero Academia that I love and I know and I will praise to Kingdom Come. But it's Horikoshi. When has he executed anyone more important than set dressing? Oh, but he got rid of Midnight. Who was Midnight? Go ahead, tell me, who's Midnight? Who's Midnight? Oh, you Midnight fans out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can definitely understand. People have gotten it. I've gotten attached to characters who are way less important than they were ever given screen time for, have way less screen time. But, like, Midnight's not important. I wouldn't even call her a side character on the same tier as, like, Koda. Or Sugar Man. Whatever his name is. Rikido Sato. I know his name. I don't know Midnight's real name. Actually, no, I do. I think it's Kimori? Something. But then again, that was forever ago, so I can't really blame. Rikido is still alive, though we haven't seen him in a minute. But for Midnight, it didn't matter. Night Eye How many scenes did not I have? He was introduced and slaughtered in the same arc. Why would I care? Did they, like, I don't know. Nahori has never had the goal to execute. Well, even, like, the closest he's gotten to, like, whoa, okay, Hori, smack it on the table then, wiggle it around, was twice. And I'll admit, I get the twice. I get why everyone's sad and mad at Hawk still, but, like, dog, I don't care. Twice. I'm gonna go back into this again. I don't think I ever actually made that video. I think I promised way back when I was gonna make that video. But, like, I mean, Twice was low-key kind of asking for it, bro. Hawks didn't want to do it. But that's just me. That's my lack of disconnect to any of these characters. And I knew, since he would only, like, the highest level we got was Twice, I knew Bakugo wasn't gonna go. Not permanently. And I still stand by this day, to this day, a whole year later, I still say Edshot reviving him is nonsense. It is. It forever will be. And Hori just did not have the nerve. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hori was just not about that life. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. Despite my critiques for it, despite how much I don't like it, do not take any of my complaints as like, oh, Pencil, you could do better. No! No! I'm not a story writer. Trying to be. But I'm not a good one. I don't publish anything. I'm not trained professional. No! Like I always say, I have a degree in something, but it ain't in writing. It's not in literature. Nothing like that. But ultimately, Bakugo coming back, it was inevitable. Destiny arrives all the same. Or should I say, he has. And Bakugo being back, nice. Notably, Bakugo's one of my favorite characters in the entire series. He's like, I like Endeavor. I like Hawks. I like All Might. He's easily top 5, and depending on the day you ask me, he may even be like top 3. Like, it's not too, the only person he's never actually cleared for my favoritism spot ever since, you know, the top character took number 1 is Endeavor. Because I really, really, really like Endeavor. But Bakugo, one of my favorite characters. Do I want him alive again? No. No. No! Especially in this kind of role. Because this is essentially telling me that All Might's going to live. I mean, maybe he still falls. I mean, bro is dripping from literally anywhere and everywhere. Maybe he still falls. But this is essentially soft confirmation that All Might's gonna live too. And admittedly, I wanted something. Give me something permanent. Like, maybe All Might will perish at the end of the war. And they're gonna have a moment where they save him and yada, 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 all that good stuff. Because we see the chapter, it says the end of the era and then the beginning. So this is the beginning of the next generation. So Bakugo being alive, All Might being alive to witness the next generation, all that, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's not what I would prefer, but it's not bad writing. Well, him coming back is bad writing. And him being able to do anything to All for One. Well, actually, once again, with Bakugo's weird, nutty scaling above, like, what? Almost complete, if not complete, to Shigaraki. I mean, yeah, sure, whatever. He's probably going to speed blitz All for One. Because All for One should be weaker than Shigaraki. Or Shigaraki for one. So, him being back, I see a lot of people are hyped, a lot of people are super duper happy, and I'm happy for him, don't get me wrong. It's just my distaste for how it was done, and the fake out. Fake outs annoy me the most. Fake outs annoy me the most. And I know a lot of people, especially I remember when this whole debacle first happened. I still remember going through those comments, reading a lot of the comments, and a lot of people, especially when not just the fake out happened, because a lot of people were mad and sad about that in my comments, even when I was decrying it, like, I don't think it's going to happen. But the revival especially, a lot of people were like, well, his heart only stopped, and his heart only exploded. It's not like he was ever actually confirmed gone. Okay. Even with that being the case, right? Exploded heart. Fine. Whatever. What do you think that was supposed to portray? What do you think the end of Last Shadow was supposed to portray for All Might? Why do you think everyone was All Might was all over the timeline, up, Big Rift, All Might, all that? It's supposed to convey the end of a character. But the inability to end a character and the desire to fake me out, not the biggest fan of it. But Bakugo being back, enough. Happy that Midoriya does not have... I mean, once again, I do kind of wish Midoriya had the trolley problem issue, where he genuinely had to choose. He had to choose between All Might and the world. A very similar decision to... I mean, the game's 5 years old. I can spoil Spider-Man PS4, right? Spoilers for Spider-Man PS4. Skip 2 minutes ahead in the video if you don't want spoilers for Spider-Man PS4. But with that being the case, it's very similar to the trolley problem decision that Peter Parker had to make at the end of Spider-Man PS4, where he had to choose between Aunt May and the city. But of course, I mean, this is more of Midoriya choosing between Uncle Ben and the world with Shigaraki, or at least the lives of the people that are on UA. So once again, it's kind of like Aunt May or the city, the decision that Peter had to make. And I thought we were going to have to see Midoriya make the mature decision and ultimately leave his childhood, leave the past behind in order to keep stalling Shigaraki and ultimately save the world at the sacrifice of his mentor. But that is not the case. My Hero Academia is not that kind of story. I hate to... And once again, All Might can still perish. Don't get me wrong. All Might can still go. But I don't think I'm going to care or buy it anymore. I gave in last week. I was very sad last week. You can check in the live reactions that I posted last week, and you can check in the review itself. You could hear the sadness, and you could see the sadness in my eyes and my voice. But now I know. And here's the thing, I guess I shouldn't fall for it. That goes to show how good of a writer Hori is. He did trick me. He did make me think he had the nerve. But now I don't buy it. Now I don't buy it. And here's the thing, right? The reason I'm so confident that All Might's going to make it is because if Bakugo comes back and fails, what was the point? Just like a lot of people are saying, well, Bakugo can come back, but he's probably not going to fight. Why? Why bring him back then? This is a battle manga. He has to come back, and he has to fight. So he's going to fight all for one. And I will admit, this does solve an interesting conundrum for Bakugo. One of my biggest things with Bakugo, and I have a bunch of MHA writing videos planned, rewrites, stuff like that, critiques about the story. I have a bunch of that planned. It's just, it takes time to sit down, record, finish up scripts, touch up scripts. I'm having a bunch of my friends review scripts. I'm doing a lot. But with that being the case, one of my biggest things that always felt weird to me about Bakugo is that he doesn't have a parallel. Like, for Midoriya. And then by parallel, I mean main protagonist and main antagonist clash. For the others, Midoriya has Shigaraki. That's his antagonistic parallel. Uraraka had Toga. That was her antagonistic parallel. And Todoroki had Dabi. That was his antagonistic parallel. But Bakugo had nobody. He never did. It felt weird, especially considering he was the deuteragonist the entire time. But a character like Todoroki, a side character, no offense to Todoroki, he got a whole counterbalancing antagonist. But for some reason, Bakugo never did. So with that being the case, I find myself intrigued that All for One is ending up being his counterbalancing antagonist, and I do like it. It is something I wasn't expecting. Once again, Hori has managed to break my ankles left, right, up, down. Is that a cheat code? And I think that's fantastic. I like it on that front. And I'm interested to see how Bakugo fights All for One. But overall, I'm happy for the people who are happy that he's back. I am indifferent, despite how much I like the character. Now, once again, it comes down to the fact that I understand the kind of story that Horikoshi's trying to write. He's trying to write a story with darker themes, but not steeped in darkness. You know what I'm saying? Like, JJK is a very good example of a story with, and who knows, maybe I'll be proved wrong there too. A lot of people are hoping for a certain someone to come back in that series, but that's another discussion for an entirely separate series. But JJK is a series that does not simply just explore darker themes, but actually sits to darker things and is unafraid to anybody. It doesn't matter. They will fall, and they will fall permanently. My Hero Academia is simply not that series. So, once again, it's kind of like the same thing that I had to do with Iron Might. Iron Might's dumb. It is. The whole fight was dumb. It was. I just gotta adjust them. That's the kind of series My Hero Academia is. I shouldn't expect the application of darkness from Kohei Horikoshi. It's not that kind of story. And no matter how much it pretends to be at times, no matter how many times we end on fake outs, no matter how many times Hori does do the smart thing as a writer while writing a weekly mangaka and play with the reader's emotions, I shouldn't expect any permanence. Everything will work out in the end one way or another. Actually, I mean, he did get rid of Toga. He did get rid of Toga. So maybe not. But then again, I don't care about Toga either. So, I don't know. This was my spoiler discussion. Obviously, this is the main parts. I'm going to still do the review. I'm going to still do the live reaction. Obviously, the text will help a lot. I do want more to discuss about themes and stuff like that, but I don't know that about the text. So, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave Baku back in the comment section down below. For the longest time, we had Baku gone, but now he is Baku back. So please leave that down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. You support as low as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reaction to this very chapter. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members for Connor Plays, Red Wolf 4765, and Burp Skills. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, and Demex LND. And I'd like to give a fat, hefty thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, and Idemokami. And I'd like to give another hefty, nasty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. And another big fat scrumdiddlyumptious thank you to our $25 patrons, Igneal and Calvin Elder.